Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Common Creatures, the tabletop RPG podcast. I am your game master, Rob, and I have the absolute pleasure of introducing our party for our very first adventure, Season of Ghosts. We have Zack.
Hi, I'm Zack.
Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex.
Ethan.
Yo.
We have Joe.
Hi.
And last but certainly not least, we have the woman behind the board, Producer Maddie. Hi, Producer Maddie.
Hi, besties.
Hi. Well, thanks, guys. We're finally doing this. Wow.
Yay.
It took 2 years.
Okay, 2 years is a little bit of
Yeah, 2 years feels like a long
I got
time.
the text message a month ago.
Yeah. I was like, hey, guys, we've been playing for a fat minute.
Yeah.
You know, most of us have been playing for a while. But, you know, this is kind of something that I've always wanted to do, but never just really had the opportunity to. And then I was like, you know, let's pick just like the perfect people that I think that I personally think that would tell the best story and just they hang out to be the best. And that's why each one of y'all guys are here.
And whoever was before me backed out, and then you called me.
That is not a lie. There was someone.
I know things, Robert.
Yeah.
I can read the room.
But Alex, we love and appreciate you.
I was
Thank you.
yeah, I
Glad
was,
someone does.
You were actually the first person above the other person, and then I was like, you know, I'm sure Alex is like busy, and then I was like, the person backed out, and I was like, time to go back to Alex, because
I love that. Time to go back to Alex. I'm glad that we had this conversation when we recorded.
maybe I'll cut it. Well, no, I don't know.
No, you got to keep it.
Okay, I'll
You gotta
keep it.
I really appreciated Goblin Osborne. I know that's not in
Thank
this
you.
in
That's
this initial
pre-lore.
episode.
That's pre-lore.
That's
Pre-lore.
pre-lore. Yeah, you know, if you want to know about the Goblin Osborne lore, you have to subscribe so that we can release episode
In 10 years.
negative
Okay,
one.
In 10 years, we hit critical role numbers. We'll
Exactly.
release the very first.
Goblin
We're selling out
Osborne. You will
Madison
know.
Square Garden.
If you want to send me any money, you can go ahead and do that. My Zelle, I'm just kidding. It's actually gone now. Zelle's
Zelle.
gone.
What?
Zell's gone.
Well, like it
The
doesn't.
app?
The app, like it's.
Oh,
It's not
yeah,
a standalone app anymore.
Oh, it's just through Chase now?
It's through like your
It's through
dedicated
your
bank.
banking.
Yeah.
I act as if I use
That's
it.
insane.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's. I was.
Never
No,
had
well,
Zelle.
that's
Glad
how
that
we.
we're finally getting to the heart of the podcast.
Yeah.
So how did that affect the
Zelle.
Dow Jones?
How does, yeah. What's the economy like? Okay, so before we jump into our Session Zero, I did want to go around the table and kind of talk about our individual kind of experience with tabletop RPGs as a whole, and then kind of what we're looking forward to the most with this first campaign. So for me overall, I mean, I've DM'd, I think, all of our campaigns, all of our one-shots and stuff like that. I really love tabletop RPGs, and I'm really excited that we're doing specifically kind of an overall tabletop podcast because there are other podcasts, other TTRPGs that I'm looking forward to kind of diving into for like other one-shots and stuff, seasonal stuff. But yeah, who wants to go next?
Let's go around the table. Sure, I guess I'll go. I think my first experience was when we did the original D&D playthrough that we only actually did like 3 or 4 sessions for.
We did like 6 sessions. I remember we did a couple of sessions because it got crazy. We got like, I think we started off with 6 and then we ended up with like 9, which was fucking awful.
9 people?
Yeah. It was 8 or 9 people.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
people kept filtering in. And
Yeah,
out.
keep coming in and out, and then I was like, I just felt bad, being like, no, don't. But yeah, eventually I was like, oh, combat is taking 2 hours, which was very. I was just like, oh my god, like I just could not, I could not do that. But continue.
Someone in particular enjoyed having a lot of lore, Ethan.
Yeah.
And a lot of conflicting
Ariana
actions.
Grande.
You're damn right, and I'll do it again.
Yeah, but after that, I think the next big thing was just playing Baldur's Gate 3
Oh,
when
yeah.
that came out. And I was like, I love this. I love this so much. And then the Marvel TTRPG that we did. And then I was like, man, I want to play this all the time. It's like, I love this.
Yeah, because I mean, we played D&D. We started D&D, and then Baldur's Gate came out. And I've spent so much hours. I still have not beat the game actually. So
That's
it's
insane.
yeah. And then we did the Marvel one, which I really enjoyed. I think we are going to hit that eventually. Hopefully soon. TM. But yeah, there's a bunch of other ones like Kids on Bikes, Delta Green, and stuff like that. There's a bunch of other ones I'm really excited to kind of touch on whenever we have a chance to do that. But Alex, what about you, man?
Yeah, so I'm Alex. So if this is the job interview, I just showed up for the engineering position. I did not go to college. No, I don't have a lot of experience with. I'm sorry, I don't have any experience except the round we did last time. Robert was very gracious to invite me over, and I'm sure Robert knows I'm always down to try things. I'm always down to immerse myself in it. And I'm a theater kid. And I can make dumb content. I've been doing that on and off with Robert and other people for years. So I'm always happy to do stuff that's creative and all that. So I have a rudimentary understanding of things. And I'm excited to get to play with you guys and learn more and not feel judged by Ethan.
What are you looking most forward
the judger
to?
of this.
Yeah.
No, I know. That's why I didn't want to call out.
What are you looking most forward to with your very first campaign? Like, is it more of like kind of getting to know like just overall how to play Pathfinder, or
Genuinely for me, like when you had texted me about it, and I went like, I'll do it, and then my wife was like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, I just told Robert I'm doing this thing with him. She goes, what is it? And I was like, I don't know. But I was really excited because, I think a lot of people, especially when you hear about tabletop RPGs, and I was the same way, it's very daunting. It seems like this big old, like I can't get into that. There's too much math. There's whatever. So Robert was like, hey, just come in, do it. I'll answer any questions you have. And so far, while I have questions here and there, it has been pretty straightforward. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about hopefully if this is something that we're doing and I get even better at it, it's something that I hope that other people that I meet, I'm like, dude, it's not that hard. Like it's not as scary as we think.
to spread the holy word of TTRPG?
Exactly. I'm going to be
Brother
like,
Osborne.
yeah, be like Goblin Osborne died on the cross.
Ethan, what about you, man?
I think I'm kind of in the middle of both of our previous characters. I have a little bit of experience, long time enjoyer, short time player. I didn't used to have a lot of free time to actually come into the sessions that we were previously planning, and now I kind of do. So that's pretty nice. I love the lore and I love building out good stories. Also a former theater kid, so I like doing character voices, things like that. So just building out a really good story will be what will make me have fun, I guess. That's what I'm most excited about and looking forward to now that we have a dedicated troupe that we can actually lock it down and do this consistently.
I think we're all former theater kids except Zach.
Yeah, not I at all.
Zach's like, those theater nerds? Nah, I'm out of here.
I did some plays when I was younger, actually.
New
Number
Zach
one.
lore
Like
just
football
dropped.
plays?
No, I
Zach,
was.
were you in crew?
I have no idea what that means. But when
I should know.
He was like 5 years old. is
Don't
what it
talk to me.
means.
when I was
He's like, shut up, nerd.
when I was a young child, in my elementary years, we were involved in the church a bit, and our church did like plays for like Easter, Christmas, all that kind of stuff.
Who are you in the nativity play?
Couldn't tell you. These memories are
He was
kind of like
angel
repressed
number
a little
3.
bit.
Yeah.
But for a lot of them, my sister and I participated in like them memorizing a lot of lines, acting it out.
So what I'm hearing
I
is
just don't remember it at all.
you're a theater kid.
That sounds like a theater
That
kid
sounds
to
like a
me.
theater kid to me.
Definitely. Yeah,
I just
no.
like the idea that in the nativity play that Zach was in, they opened up the case and he was the frankincense.
I like the idea of Zach saying thank you 5. That's what I like.
So like imagining like our Beauty and the Beast that we did our freshman year, where
Yeah.
it's like I was like a ketchup bottle or whatever. I'm imagining Zach just like dressed up as frankincense, just a hole cut out in his face.
I apologize. You were a ketchup bottle?
I was a ketchup bottle for Beauty and the Beast. Yeah,
That's insane.
yeah. We have a Gaston over here. Alex is
Did ketchup
Gaston
exist?
Yeah, I was Gaston in Beauty and the Beast.
W, dude.
in Renaissance France. I guess so. I don't know. I think we just ran out of costumes, and they were like, "Whatever you want to be, dog." And I was
Well,
like,
they didn't call it ketchup in Beauty and the Beast. It was catch-all.
True.
All right, Joe. What about you?
So my name's Joe, And I am going to refer to myself as the Nepo baby of this podcast. Not my parents, but my husband loves TT RPGs. And this is just a way for me to hang out with friends, dive into his interests. I'm a huge fan of like Vanderpump reality shows. So I thought he's giving me something. I'll give him something. And I actually really, really enjoy just being on this creative path, making up stuff, creating chaos with my friends, but controlled chaos, because we all know what uncontrolled chaos looks like. Ethan.
Hello.
He's like, hello, I'm uncontrolled chaos.
But yeah, I'm super excited to spend time with my friends. I heard Rob's kind of weird, but
True. For people that don't know us, Joe's my wife. So I just want to put that out there.
What?
I
hard
thought it was
launch.
like a roommate situation.
Yeah, I mean the economy, you know. And
wait, other rumor. I heard Ethan has a crush on our producer or something.
True.
Dude, that's fucking weird. I literally have a fiance.
Good comms. Yeah, me and Maddie, as of now, as of this recording, currently engaged.
Is that gonna change for? As of right now, we'll feel it out.
hopefully
This
in
is a trial run. You know, we moved in, got cats together, but it's still not that
right.
serious.
Well, hopefully in the future we will be married. So that's why.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
cool.
if,
That's
if
the
Robert
radical.
or whenever hears this podcast, it's not that serious.
And last up, we have producer Maddie. Producer Maddie, tell me about yourself.
Hey guys, so I have an unhealthy obsession with a lot of celebrity men. But besides that, kind of what Joe was saying, like Ethan, my fiance, that dude, he loves D&D. He loves all the nerdy stuff, and so this is also, you know, me getting into his world a little bit, getting to know a little bit more about his interests, and you know, as we established, most of us are theater kids. And so I also thought this would be super fun. And, you know, I grew up with, like, my parents growing up in the 80s. My dad's a D&D nerd. So I was like, oh, yeah, for sure. So when Rob, like, brought it up, I was like, sure, like, I want to experience it. Now, do I have anxiety? Because, like, it's a lot and it was overwhelming at first. Sure. But when Rob was like, hey, would you like to be producer? I was like, dude, that's so exciting. Because, one, I'm a nerd. I went to film school. So I'm like, I can put my degrees to something, you know? Don't disappoint my mom fully. And then also it's going to give me an opportunity to know the game a little bit more so that in the future, you know, I'll be more comfortable and like jump in with y'all. And so I'm super excited to be here, super fun, and same thing, love to hang out with you guys. It's like an excuse to get out and like really see y'all because we're adults.
We're adults now. Yeah.
We're adults and we have to plan to hang out. Like, what is that?
We were
need
sent a Google Doc.
We were sending literally. Yeah, we were,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. Literally,
That's how
thank
I
you.
feel every time I have to plan a month ahead. to
It's
see-
insane that I'm like, oh yeah, well, I have to send out a survey to be like, oh hey, when are we all available? Because like, and sometimes it's like, oh, see you in 3 weeks. And so, like, but that's why I'm kind of glad. Yeah, we all have this time to kind of come together and just hang out and play a little bit of Pathfinder 2E, which I think is a system brand new to all of us. I mean, like I said before, I've DM'd a lot of D&D and then DM'd the Marvel stuff, the Marvel multiverse. But jumping into Pathfinder, I was like, oh, this is just like a more comprehensive D&D where like everything has a certain amount of actions. You don't have to worry about like, oh yeah, you can do that or whatever. This is like, hey, no, action, look at this right here. That shows you what you can do. So that's honestly what I'm most excited to see.
Everyone's here very
If
cutely
you can just
with
say
their
that.
partner, and I feel left out. So Zach and I have been married for 37
Okay, cool. Cool.
He
So
left me last year.
damn, it's gonna be a really awkward session, huh?
And they're sitting right next to each other.
He's right
Old
behind you.
habits.
Zoinks, zoinks.
So I want to go ahead and start this before we jump into our actual characters. We did come together. This is our session 0. For people that do not know, a session 0 is when the GM and the party comes together to talk a little bit more about, one, learning what the world is about, learning about kind of what the campaign's going to be going forward, as well as creating characters, finding out what the party formation is going to be. So I'm going to start off right here with a Season of Ghosts overview, as that's going to be our very first campaign. So Season of Ghosts is a Pathfinder 2E adventure path set in a rural haunted region of Shenmin on the continent of Tian Sha. This is a kind of loosely based on Asia. The campaign unfolds over the course of one full year. beginning during the traditional season of ghosts, a few weeks after the start of summer, when haunting spirits and the undead stir in the woodlands. This is a level 1 through 12 campaign, so we're starting off at level 1, and then we'll end up at level 12. So it's not going to get too crazy. Players will portray Willow Shore locals who become central figures after participating in the town's reenactment festival. Over 4 seasonal chapters, the party must defend their small town from escalating supernatural threats, uncovering ancient secrets, and facing increasingly terrifying foes. So one of the really cool things I saw when I was looking at different adventure paths for this was I was looking for something that's going to be a little beginner friendly. So this is not going to be a very huge combat focused thing. There is still combat, but it is a lot of RP, which is I'm really excited for a bunch of ex theater people. I'm including Zach on this one now.
Sure.
So that is my spiel about overall. I did want to hand it over to producer Maddie to give us a little bit more of the lore of Willow Shore.
Hello, friends. Okay, so the lore of Willow Shore. Willow Shore is a small, isolated lumber town of about 300 residents located in Shenmen's Specterwood region. It was originally founded in 7020 to support the nearby Tangsuji Monastery, built around a mystical and ancient Sugi tree. After a tragic event known as Night of Broken Blades, where undead woodcutters attacked the town, the monastery was abandoned, and Willow Shore became a self-sufficient, tight-knit community. A major cultural divide runs through the town. So we have the South Bankers, south of the Saba River, tend to be traditionalist, favoring self-reliance and maintaining old customs. And then we also have Northridge residents, north of the river, are pragmatists, more focused on urban growth and modernization. Despite these tensions, the survival and safety of Willow Shore remain a shared priority across factions. The town's religious life is vibrant, centered around shrines to deities like Abadar, Daikitsu, Lady Nambayu, and
You got it. I believe in you.
Farashma. Alongside the philosophical teachings of Sangpokshi, Willow Shore's remote location shielded it from much of the turmoil following the collapse of the Longhua Empire. But rumors of supernatural threats, such as the spider-like Drogumo, have begun to grow. As the season of ghosts approaches, Willow Shore faces an uncertain and dangerous future.
That was so cinematic. I love that. Before we jump forward into the character creation, did anyone have any questions about kind of the world that we're going into? I know I handed over the player's guide over to y'all, but I know it is a really chunky, comprehensive document. So if we can definitely talk a little bit more about the future of Willow Shore, Season of Ghosts as a whole. Like I said, it is at level 1 through 12, so it is kind of very beginner friendly. And as we get more and more higher levels and stuff, it is going to get a little bit crazier. But this is very much like a supernatural kind of horror mystery. So it's going to be, like I said, a lot more role play, not very much combat.
I had a question.
Yeah.
What's that spider thing called again?
That is a beautiful question.
A Jorogumo.
Yeah.
Jorogumo, yeah. You will be, when we're in Foundry Virtual Tabletop, which is what we're going to be using for playing, there, you will have a journal in there for you to be able to make notes. But if you also want to keep a separate Google Doc, you can definitely do that as well. I would just love to be able to see y'all guys' notes to see what y'all guys focus more on, and I can do a little bit more. But before we jump in there, I did ask y'all guys to come with like 1 to 3 different kind of class ideas, character ideas overall. We're going to go through each sort of thing, ancestry, background, class, and talk about any questions y'all guys might have about this. I do think y'all guys before this did kind of plan out a little bit more of the party. So I'm glad y'all guys were able to kind of pick things that you were really focused on. So let's go ahead and just start with Ancestry if there's no more questions. Cool. Zach, let's go ahead and start with you, man. What Ancestry were you thinking on? What kind of feat were you going to be focusing on after that?
I am going to be a Nagaji.
Oh, snake person.
Snake person,
okay.
Yeah.
You're bald.
I'm bald.
Yeah, they're like they're
They
so
have scales.
they have
Zach's
like a
character
rethinking
choice
this
is my home.
He said this changes everything.
He hates it.
yeah, so it's really cool. It's like a top half snake and then bottom half just like humanoid kind of weird. But yeah, it's Go ahead.
Well, actually,
Oh,
for the Nagaji, I'm doing the half orc one.
Okay. So you're gonna be half Nagaji, half orc.
Exactly.
Interesting. What
That sounds terrifying. Just to be clear, that's insane.
Intentionally, yeah. I think bottom half orc.
Bottom half orc. Okay, cool. So you're like
Smart
super
choice. Smart
swole with like
choice.
that's really cool. That's really really cool. And
It's
so
giving
what
the theme.
feat are you thinking of going?
So my ancestry feat, I believe orc ferocity.
Oh, okay. So what does that do?
So the trigger is in battle, my hit points would be reduced to 0. But instead of dying when reduced to 0, I would stay at 1 hit point, and then
okay.
my wounded condition would go up by 1.
Okay, so it's very much like D&D, where it's like, oh my god, what it's called? I forgot. But the half orcs also have that in D&D, where if you get knocked down, because I remember Tyler played that as a rogue, and I was so mad because it was just like I could never get him down. But awesome, cool. Alex, go over to you, man. What are you playing, and what feat are you looking at?
So obviously, I want to do something really complicated.
Oh, absolutely,
really, really out there. So I went human.
Okay.
The most complicated.
Yeah.
Yes. We have a lot of feelings. And then for my ancestry feat, I just again went really complicated. Went natural skill.
Okay.
I'm really trying to push the boundaries of what I can do with the build. So
No, you're like going that Hercules like background before he finds out he's a god.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
there's a surprise for you down
Yeah.
the road.
Let's-
0 to hero, real quick, you know.
yeah, I think
like
just
that.
0 to extra 0.
And the natural skill just gives you can basically make anything trained, right? Of any of your skills.
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. Ethan, what about you, man?
Hello, everyone. I am choosing the Kitsune ancestry. A little bit rarer, but very excited. And for my ancestry feat, it would be the Foxfire feat that I have, which essentially allows me a additional kind of spell. I'm choosing Foxfire, because I could choose between electricity or fire, and it gives me a 1d4 damage. Max range of 20 feet.
That's really cool because I can imagine if you're, I know what class you're playing. We're going to get to that, but I'm imagining if you run out of certain specific stuff, you can just like always just use an action to be like, and Foxfire, here you go.
And I tried to make it, I kind of have an idea with my lore, so I'm trying to make it kind of centered around my lore, what my character specifically would have. So
Hell yeah. And last but not least, Joe.
I am playing a Dampier. So a Dampier, my mom is human. My dad was a vampire. I look like a human, except I have vampiric features. Rogue. Dampier rogue is what I'm doing.
Asterian vibes.
Starion vibes.
Yeah. In this world that we're playing in, they're super common. So hopefully my scary look will help us get through some scary stuff in this horror-esque world.
And what feat are you doing?
I
Your
did
ancestry feat.
my ancestry feat. Oh, I am an old soul, which means I am more than 100 years old. So, but I still look pretty good.
What benefit do you get?
I
being
know
100 years
a
old?
ton of stuff.
Okay.
I'm a know-it-all,
Oh, cool.
just like in real life.
Cool.
She said cougar.
All right, so then let's go ahead and do a background next. So what's really cool about the Seasonal Ghosts adventure path overall is that unlike any other adventure path that Paizo's made, they have custom-made backgrounds for this specific one. So it's really cool that this is the only one that's ever had custom backgrounds. So I asked our guys to look at some of them. You didn't have to use them. It was just like easier for you to be able to connect a little bit more. But I think what, Zach, you did not pick one, right? So you picked, what did you pick?
I honestly did not even see that section.
Oh,
it's I will say it's not like bolded.
Yeah.
So you might have
Looked over it real quick.
Yeah.
I think I control F for backgrounds and was looking at the preferred standard background.
oh yeah. I mean, that's still fine. But which one are you looking at?
So the one that I was thinking was guard,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What does that really give you?
strength, and constitution.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So knowing what class you pick, that's really good.
Yeah.
A little min-maxer over here. Okay.
But I will be looking at the backgrounds in this player guide.
Cool. So subject to change.
Subject to change.
Cool.
Very much so.
All right. Then let's move on over to Alex.
Yes, I picked Willow Shore Urchin.
Oh, okay.
Yes, little street boy.
Little street boy. That gives you what's more survival, right? Or what does that give you?
It is boost to some skills, dexterity or strength you got to pick. Trained in athletics, engineering lore skill, and then you gain the charming liar feat.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah.
We love a liar.
We love a liar. That's
My
gonna be
mother would be proud.
It's really cool because that's gonna give you boosts to other stuff too. So that's really, really fucking cool. Cool. Let's go ahead and jump over to Ethan.
Yes, I chose the folklore enthusiast, which is it gives me 2 ability boosts. One must be intelligence or wisdom. I chose intelligence, and then I get an additional free ability boost. And I'm also trained in religion and art lore, and I gain oddity identification.
Okay, cool. And then I can see right here that your seasonal boon is pretty cool as well. That for your recall knowledge, which is a thing that you can do. You have a flash of insight. You recall an old parable. This recall knowledge check loses the secret trait and increases the result of your check to recall knowledge by 1 degree of success, which is awesome, especially if you're in the middle of a fight, because that means you can learn way more information about the thing that you're fighting.
Yes, and I'm hoping to tie that into the lore as well. I'm hoping to talk to sneak peek, but hoping to talk to my ancestors and have them, give me that knowledge.
Interesting. I'm really excited to talk to you about this.
Yes.
I did read your 30-page lore doc, and I was like,
It was 13, just to be clear.
I didn't see Ethan for like 2-3 hours, by the way, and I thought you like fell asleep.
I was locked in. She was asleep, and I was still typing. I was locked in.
3 a.m.
No, for real.
I just want to say I'm loving how much I'm discovering that Ethan is a little lore whore.
Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, let's go over to Joe.
What am I saying again?
Your background?
Oh, yeah. I'm an outskirt dweller, which means I have the ability I have 2 ability boosts. One must be dexterity and the other one wisdom, and 1 free. I'm trained in nature, hunting, and I am an expert in terrain.
Yeah, you get terrain expertise, which is really cool for if there's any forest exploration, which is spoiler alert, there may be. So you're basically going to ignore any difficult terrain, which is really cool.
Lovely.
And then I know we were talking about it on the way
Yes.
home from work that your seasonal boon is really cool because
Yes.
as soon as you're about to roll initiative, you get a +1 to initiative to the amount of seasons that we've played. So
Yeah.
season 1 that we're going to start right now is going to be a +1, but all the way at the very end, you're going to get a +4. And then you can also give your other party members
Yes.
that +1, +2, +3, +4 to their initiative also. So effectively boosting
all of y'all.
everyone. So maybe y'all guys be able to roll higher to go first in combat, which is really, really cool.
Yeah. Anything that makes us roll higher because background, I roll like shit.
And I roll pretty darn good.
And
Okay, who asked?
my rolls are all over the place.
Yeah, Ethan can either roll like God is like he's God's favorite, or
Chaotic neutral is definitely what my dice always decide.
And then last but not least, everyone's favorite part of character customization is going to be their class. So this one right here was the one I asked y'all guys to come with 1 to 3. But like I said, I think you guys were able to kind of just like single out 1, 1, 1 for each one. This time, I'm going to go backwards because Joe, you kind of already said what you were playing. You're going to be playing a rogue, right?
Yes.
What rogue's racket did you pick?
I picked, let me go back. I picked the ruffian racket.
Interesting. Okay.
So I prefer direct approach, intimidation. I might be an enforcer for like the mafia or someone. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to play this, but yeah, I wanted to build like the toughest character for the character I want to be.
Nice. Ethan, I'm very excited about your your class, because I've seen a couple of different like live play shows and stuff like that. I've seen rogues play, I've seen bards, I've seen all those other things, but I've never seen anyone pick your class. What are you playing?
Yeah, I'm playing an oracle, and with an oracle, I get a mystery. My mystery will be my ancestors. I will be communing with my ancestors pretty regularly. Always kind of a voice in the ear, and also cool part of the oracle lore that I found out was that you have to constantly fight off your ancestors from possessing your body.
Oh, really?
Wow. Yeah, definitely.
That is super cool.
So yeah, very very interesting.
You're literally fighting your own demons.
Yeah. So like you can use oracle powers, but the more you use it, the more susceptible you are to being curse bound.
Oh, yeah,
which
yeah.
is your ancestors kind of taking over your body. So, and then I have to kind of just do whatever my ancestors would want me to do.
That is awesome.
It's super cool. I'm very excited.
Oh, so it's just like you every day in your life.
Definitely.
Like literally every day,
yeah.
he'll like walk into the apartment. We have an ofrenda, and he'll be like, "Hi, ancestors." Maddie, say hi to the ancestors. Maddie, say bye. Like, every day. I mean, we do it all the time. But I'm like, this is just you, but like on crack cocaine now.
That's really really cool. I'm really excited to kind of fiddle around with that. Alex, what do you play, man?
Again, being a first-time player, wanted to really test the boundaries of what I can do.
Absolutely.
Went Ranger.
All right.
So don't wanna be too close to die immediately. I want to last as long as I can, and die later. It's always the goal.
You'll be the last one alive. You'll be the one that tells the story, and then when inevitably everyone dies, you'll be the one person from the original
I wish
party.
I could say that, but I was a Ranger last time, and I was the only one that was almost gonna die.
Yeah, for a little backstory, we did also just fight on a ship. So like it was very much like, oh hey, I'm a ranger and I'm in a ship. What can I do? And you just got rocked. It was
because I was refusing to get on the ship.
Yeah.
Real quick, I didn't realize that if we got away from those enemies, the engagement would be ended.
Yeah.
So I thought we had to destroy those things. So then when I finally got up, I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to keep shooting them. And then you went, no, y'all are away from it. Y'all escaped. And I'm like, oh shit, I would have done this earlier.
I would have skedaddled way more.
Yeah.
It's like we could just run away sometimes.
Yeah.
Zach, you don't have to fight. Walk the fuck away. Talking to
strategy.
Ethan all the
Zach's
time.
a
Just like in
pacifist?
Skyrim, I forget that's an option.
And then last but not least, Zach, you actually did have like 2 or 3 ideas that you did mention to me. You're like, whatever everyone plays, I'm gonna play something I'm gonna min-max the heck out of it.
Well, I very much I can play a lot of things. I've played a lot of games. I feel like I have a variety of skills in that. But my main thing is I want our party to be successful. So waiting for everyone else to see, and I was like, all right, we need a tank and we also need a healer. Only logical choice champion.
Okay. So. Nice. And what feat are you doing for your champion?
So I was looking at Deity's Domain for my class feat. I do not know my deity yet, though.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I can pick that on the Path Builder.
I think you can. It's just like a weird. It's in your.
Like I chose everything.
It's in your details.
My details.
Yeah, and like the little section, like where it's like weapons, defense gear. Yeah, if you go there, your deity is right there.
Next to your social and your driver's license.
Yeah.
By the way, can I get your social, please?
Yeah, for sure.
Very important.
Also, to backtrack, I changed my background.
Oh, okay.
To a Northridge scholar.
Oh, okay. Nice. So I'm really, one of the major big things I'm super excited to discuss about this is that separation of culture, the Northridge versus the South Bank is actually very important in this. So being able to have someone on one side, because I think, everyone else, you're an urchin, you're an outscore dweller, and you're a folklore enthusiast. You're really the only person that has kind of ties to a specific location. So
they definitely seem like the more progressive faction.
Definitely, yeah. The pragmatists, as
as
Maddie said.
They're like, let's expand. Let's make this city into something.
Yeah. So I'm very excited to kind of get into that. Not necessarily civil war, but like kind of the differences of ideas, and that knowing what I know as the GM it's going to take a big part of the adventure. But yeah, that is awesome. That is all of our classes. So now that we've kind of gone through all that sort of stuff, was there any other things you guys want to talk about, questions-wise? Anything that has to do with kind of the characters overall? Do you want to know a little bit more about what things we're going to be facing?
How active are the deities that we pray to? Daiketsu is my deity that I will be praying to, but
Yes, the Lady of Foxes. So not necessarily, they're not gonna have like immediate divine intervention and stuff. It's kind of like regular D&D where it's like, oh hey, yeah, you're gonna be like, there are gods to worship, and
Right.
there's like divine intervention through like champions and through magic and stuff. But we're not gonna be seeing like like I said, the immediate intervention physically there.
Okay.
So it's more of the influence of the gods rather than the intervention.
okay.
Yep.
What are we looking forward to?
Yeah. Okay. So the beginning of this is very cool, especially now that I know y'all guys' characters with classes and stuff like that. I'm able to make a little bit more connections for y'all guys. But what's going to be really cool is the mystery. The mystery is very, very, very cool. We're gonna have kind of a slow start for sure. I'm gonna say that with kind of the story that I'm adding on top of it. But once you get into the actual mystery, it is something that's gonna be very engaging for y'all. I want to keep the cards a little bit closer to my chest about what's gonna be happening, but it is gonna be something it's gonna be impactful to all your characters, is what I'll say. But yeah, I'm gonna try and this is kind of like horror adjacent. I'm not really more interested into the horror stuff. I'm more interested into the supernatural stuff. So I might like dull down the horror a little bit to bring up the mystery a little bit more.
Sounds good.
Are we keeping like the small town vibes on here?
Yes, we are very much keeping the small town vibes. As I said a little bit earlier, that actually what producer Maddie said a little bit earlier, there's only about 300 people in this, so it is a relatively smaller town. This town's only been around for like 90 so-ish years, and it was only made because it was a lumber yard for the monastery. And after the monastery kind of disappears, it's like, oh hey, what do we do? We're so far away from the empire, we're so far away from any kind of other civilization. The only thing we can do is kind of just build here. So as like they start building, more and more people start to come as they realize it's a town of like new beginnings. So that's why there are the most of the races that are gonna be there are gonna be humans and elves, half elves, kitsune, kind of things that are more specifically there for Tianxi, for Shenmin, the country overall. But yeah, you see a couple other things. There's some rat folk, there's some Nagaji, there's some other people that are not necessarily natives there. So yeah, it's gonna be a more small town sort of stuff, as we are kind of still in the beginning of this city being built. But that's where y'all guys come in. That's where the characters are gonna be able to make decisions. Hey, where are we gonna be going with this? Are we gonna be building more? Are we gonna go more? Are we gonna go more with the Northridge people and try and advance in technology and more militaristic, or are we gonna do more traditional stuff and like, hey, we know our roots. This is what's gonna be. So I'm very excited to see y'all guys' choices when it comes to that, because I don't know what y'all are gonna do. I don't know if you're gonna find one head of one faction better than the other one, but that's gonna be super, super cool.
So, and because you've alluded to it a lot already, obviously, so it's going to be very politically driven.
Very much
with the
so.
town.
Yeah. So this is not a dungeon crawler in any sense. This is not like hey, go find this, come bring back here. This is very much like you're gonna get into the nitty gritty of the town. You're gonna get to know the people of the town. You're gonna have like friends, family, enemies, people in this town, and it's gonna be, hey, how are these relationships going to impact the town's growth and eventual, as I kind of said before, protection of this town as these ghosts start to infest a little bit more and more as the season goes on. Because like I said, it is the season of Ghost. Each book, it is a 4-book adventure path, focuses on a season. So this first one, we're starting off of summer, and then eventually we're going to end in winter, where ghosts are the most prevalent. So it's going to be, hey, how do we do X, Y, and Z? There might be chores for y'all to do. Like someone might be like, hey, like the only way that we can survive is if you come help rid these X, Y, and Z from our farm, or hey, like we need help rebuilding X, Y, and Z. So there might be just like cool roleplay moments where y'all guys can be like, hey, you get to talk a little bit more about the town, be able to build relationships to then make things better for the very end.
So Preston will literally be telling us that the settlements need our help.
Very much
That's
so.
what you're
Yeah.
telling
Yeah. Be very
Okay.
Preston Garvey, very like, hey, the settlements in need, and you have to go do
Okay.
this stuff.
I'm thinking like you need to help build this house, and you need to roll 20 strength checks in a row.
There are some stuff like that I'm removing because I
I'm
do
looking
think
forward to
it is
that.
very like, hey, sorry
Tedious.
guys, yeah, very tedious. Those might get like washed off into like role play moments and stuff like that. But it's very much like, hey, we can't move on until you guys all roll X, Y, and Z, which I think can be very boring. And two, it's like I feel like we can do way more cool story stuff
But we
with
can
that
just
time.
play the house building song from Red Dead 2, and we can build the dang house.
Considering the festival that -1 session, that the only one that passed was Zach. That's probably smart.
True. That's
That is
true.
true.
We're all going to be at the end of it just sitting on the bench dying. And Zach is gonna be just jacked.
He's gonna have a pile of just like his treasures, and then all of us are just gonna be like,
Yeah, he's going to have 50 houses built.
So one of the things I did want to bring up before we end today is the reenactment festival. That is the first major thing that's going to be happening here. So what this reenactment festival is, it's very cool. Something I really love about the lore here is that this festival is basically a way to kind of trick ghosts. Where in the past, in like legend, when they first built it, is that these ghosts would come in, take people, and walk them out into the forest, and then they would never see these people again. So what they've been doing now as a sort of way to ward off these ghosts is that the townspeople dress up as ghosts, and then they pick 4 people every year to go act as victims. They go and leave them somewhere, and then in the morning they come bring them back.
Oh, they don't murder them?
They don't murder them. No, you're not sacrifices. It's literally just a festival where everyone dresses up as ghosts, leads them out, and then it's like, hey, ghosts, we sacrificed our own people, blah, blah,
Maybe
blah.
they should try actually sacrificing them, and they wouldn't have
To
ghosts.
ward off the
That's the end of session 1. You're all dead. All right, make new characters. But yeah, so I did want to ask, is that some... for your character's choices, do you want to wait a little bit longer to think about if it's something you would volunteer for? Do you think it's something that you would find yourself being voluntold? As I would say, like the South Bank people are way more into this tradition than Northridge. The Northridge people are very much like, hey, like this is something kind of really interesting to learn about. So
Is this like, is it hard to get people to volunteer for that part of it? Like, is that usually a struggle? Like, do some people... do some people not like to volunteer for that kind of thing?
the most people, like the reason why they wouldn't want to volunteer is because like you're basically camping for a night. You're camping for a night in like the middle of the woods. So like, it's kind of the same thing. It's like if you were being if like this thing was happening in real life, would you personally want to go camp out for a day, be carried by like people, pretend like you're ghosts, and go there?
Do you get accolades for doing that? Is there any
Think of it as like peek behind the curtain. We're from San Antonio, and Fiesta's coming up right now. So Elf Ray Feo or whatever. How like that's kind of like a honorary traditional sort of thing.
So it'd be kind of like that.
Exactly, where it's like, oh hey, like kind of like like I did that once a couple of years back. It's kind of a thing to bond over, but you're not necessarily going to be like, oh my god, like you're the best person in the world. It's very much just like an honorary sort of thing.
like when you get chosen, like to go upstage for something, like you're
Exactly. It's less Hunger Games. Very much like hey, like whoever wants to volunteer, there will be role play possibilities when we start doing the specific introductory scenes in the beginning. So I want y'all guys to have that in the back of your head. You don't have to answer now. You can definitely like come. You can text me or whatever and tell me this. Hey, this I'm really interested in like being volunteered. I'm really interested in voluntold. Whatever you think tells the best story for you and your character.
Okay.
I think I'll just tell you now,
Okay.
just so I don't forget. I think my character is going to volunteer.
Okay. Cool.
For sure.
I'm just imagining Effie Trinket just like on the microphone. If anyone would like to volunteer,
Ethan, and then
Yes.
I can just tell you now too.
Okay.
I think I wouldn't be mad, but I wasn't Like I wasn't there to volunteer. I just got chosen, but I wasn't mad about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So like,
I was
as
just
the
like,
outskirt
okay.
dweller, you
Yeah.
think it's not something you would necessarily volunteer
Yeah,
for.
but I'm not. I don't care enough to be like, no.
You're
Okay.
like, whatever, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
and I'll tell you as well because I'm a little similar. I think my character was kind of asked, and them thinking it was silly. Like they're not even worried about it. Like, yeah,
Okay.
of course I'll do it. Like,
Oh yeah, as a ranger, I mean, like it's like a day out in the woods is really nothing to you.
yeah, like you guys are afraid to do it. That's fine. I'll just
Okay.
it's whatever.
As like a hey, if no one else kind of like does it, sort of thing.
Yeah,
Or okay,
exactly.
Cool. Nice. And
I
then-
feel like I would volunteer to be the one carrying Ethan.
Okay.
He is my sacrifice.
Okay.
So I'm carrying him to the
Okay. So you want to be okay. I can,
And
I
thus
can-
a rivalry forms.
Well, you guys are on like different, like
Are you-
backgrounds, right?
Yeah, I'm South Bank. Are you?
He's
Oh,
a, he's
you
a
are.
tradition. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm,
Yo,
Oh.
I come from a South
wild.
Bank
He's
family.
not picking the background, but his character is from
My
South
character's
Bank.
from South Bank. Very
Gotcha.
traditional. Very full of traditions. Yes.
Think of me as like Catholicism. Just coming into the town.
Zach is a daredevil.
Well,
actually.
that would be really cool because
Crusades Part 2.
that would be really cool. That's a really good idea because the main sort of deities here are that Daikitsu and Lady Nyambo. Those are the ones that are kind of more directly related to Shen Min, versus like Abadar is like an imperial kind of religion. So that would be really cool if like you went with like Abadar, who is like Abadar was the one god that we talked about in the dungeon crawl we did. It was the god of riches and god of like fortune and cities and stuff like that. So that could be a really cool roleplay thing.
I see that
note
your
of it.
pattern of keeping Ethan close continues.
Well, awesome guys. That is all I have for y'all guys. You have anything else before we end today?
No, I'm very
Alex,
excited.
I just have a question for you.
I have an answer for you.
Have you seen Walker, Texas Ranger?
Have I seen Walker Texas Ranger?
The TV show?
No, I have not. Porque?
You should really lock into it. That's what I keep envisioning your character as.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Texas
okay.
Ranger.
It's Chuck
Research.
Norris. For anyone who doesn't know, I grew up with my grandparents. I got a lot of old people knowledge here. So every time you say Ranger, I just
You think of
picture
Chuck Norris,
at
yeah.
this table.
See, I'll check it out. And I didn't grow up with my grandparents. Like they were around, you know, they're not dead, but I didn't grow up with them closely. And I too have a lot of old people knowledge. I have a bunch of black and white Western movies, and I have a bookshelf just full of
Old Western.
old Western novels. Yep.
Yep.
So I am 28 going on 58.
That's beautiful. We love to hear that here.
Well, thank you guys for being here today. I'm very excited to talk to each one of y'all guys about your specific backgrounds and kind of moving forward with what y'all guys really want to, if there's any mysteries or anything besides. But that is going to be the end of our very first episode of Common Creatures, our session 0. Look forward to our next episode, which is going to be session 1. Woo! And we'll see you next week.
Bye, besties.